am Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to some more Sims 4 Occult discussions. And today we are going to be talking about superheroes. Something I know a lot and not a lot about at the same time. So as a kid, I remember watching like Spider-Man and X-Men, like those were two of my big like favorite things watching. But then I stopped doing anything with most like superheroes that are from like the comic book world. I have been learning a lot more about them as of recent because my boyfriend is hugely into comic books. He knows stuff about people in shows and stuff that I've watched that I didn't know because like it was something only in the comic or it was in a different variation of the comic because in this comic book series Starfire is this way, and this comic book series she's that way. Because I also like Teen Titans, so but yeah, anyway, sort of all over the place. But yeah, so now we're going to be talking about superheroes in The Sims. So I would like to note, there is a part of me that feels like, and I should have looked this up before starting this video, but guess what I didn't do? That I remember something about superheroes or something similar to superheroes or superhero-esque in being mentioned in Sims 3. I don't know if it was like just costume-based or what it was, or if it was more like, someone had a acting career as one, and you could go up as a kid and think they were an actual I don't know to what capacity, and I don't know if that's even a thing. I don't know if my head has just produced that in my brain when it's not actually a thing. So yeah. But anyway, even if they were, I have no idea what they were like, so I'm just gonna be going off of just in general, if superheroes were to come to The Sims 4, what I would like to see. So when it comes to superheroes, I definitely feel like that would be, like, an interesting, but maybe potentially hard thing to do, because to get it to do right, you would have to include so many things. Obviously, there's no way you can include every superpower out there in Sims. Like, I can't imagine, comparing what is in even expansion packs, what all they put in the expansion packs we've been getting, I do not foreseeing them putting almost all the powers out there that have been known to be given to superheroes, and also still give a lot in Create a Sim and in Build a Buy. So I definitely think they would have to pick and choose. Obviously, there should be some of the most common ones and some of the most famous ones and most liked ones in there, but I definitely think there should be ability to choose powers and stuff, and maybe like similar to how the whole fame system works and like vampires and things like that, maybe you can add on to new ones. I feel like there definitely should be a limit. So like maybe there is like powers, and then there's also things that you can pick in there, things that you're immune to, and things that maybe you can slow some of your certain needs down or something like that. But I definitely think some of the choices you can choose are powers, while others are just little nice add-ons to have. But not necessarily powers. And if you're able to choose multiple powers, I definitely think there should be a limit to how many powers. I don't think they should be allowed to choose so many powers. So one way I can think of in my head is like maybe they have a similar, obviously like the little box that pops up for vampires and celebrities, and maybe one column is powers and ability while the other one is like add-ons and then like a weakness thing, because I definitely think there should be some sort of weakness, like something. And there also should be maybe a limit to said power, depending on what power is, depends on maybe its limit. Just in Sims, I know like superheroes in like actual comic books and in mangas and, all over the world and different stories and stuff, they have things that go against them, but it's not necessarily a limit. Like, if they keep using said power, it's gone, except for some cases, but not for all. But for the sake of Sims, I definitely think all of them should have a limit. Like, they have to keep an eye on, like, don't overuse it, something bad can happen, or you just can't use your power for, like, so long, or whatever. So there definitely should be some drawback to constantly using said ability or power. And I definitely think there also should be maybe a way that they have a chance to lose their superpower ability. So like something like some sort of plant or gem or something that if they are not careful and they get near of or they ingest or touch or whatever, it loses their powers. Again, that could be maybe they can maybe include multiple options, and depending, like maybe they do like groups of powers or whatever, depending on what power you have, depends on what thing can make you lose it. But I definitely think there should be a way to potentially lose it, so you have to be careful about that. And I definitely think when creating a superhero, you should be able to automatically choose from one power. One way I think they could do that is add a little extra thing onto the traits menu, maybe, for superheroes, and you get to choose a starting power. And maybe even depending on that starting ability that you choose, maybe that influences the rest of the powers you can choose from and the abilities you can choose from and the little extra stuff and your weaknesses. Maybe depending on that first power you choose actually will affect that. That would be fun. I don't know if they'd go into that much detail, but still would be fun. I would prefer that. That would be cool. And it would give more like playability, like, oh, now I want to try starting with this power and see what differences there are for starting a sim with this power versus this power. And I think there should be ability to have a superhero gene, basically. So, like, you know, your kids have a chance to gain a power, gain superpowers, but there also should be a way that you can be turned into a superhero or superhuman or whatever. Because obviously in the superhero world, there's all sorts of ways that people have become heroes to some degree, whether it's from a spider bite or just being born with these powers or whatever. I definitely think there should be two different ways that you can get them, whether you're born with it or not. And I definitely think there should be a chance that not all the kids of a superhero, even if they're both parents are a superhero, I think there should be a way there's still a chance for the kid to not have any powers also. Because that would be a cool little story to play with as well, like from a story standard. You're playing the one kid in the whole entire family that didn't get powers of some sort. So I definitely think like that should be included. Now, when it comes to, obviously a lot of superheroes have some sort of costume or thing. I think it'd be cool if they added some sort of suit designer. I don't know how they would do that without putting too much resources in it and then taking away from other parts of the pack. But if they could do it in like a little way, like obviously you wouldn't have endless options or whatever, but you know, maybe you can choose like long sleeves or short sleeves or more like a spaghetti or, you know, just a tank top sleeve and long pants or pants with a skirt on, like, you know, something like that, and then choose the colors maybe. And that would be sort of fun if there was like a little thing that they could do, like as they're becoming more of a superhero, they actually can do that. Like there's like a little workstation or like some person you can call, like maybe the what is it? The stylist, the freelancer stylist, or just the stylist? Is it a freelancer stylist? It's not a freelancer. It's a stylist, and that was in a free update. The stylist could actually, maybe there's a stylist that specializes in superhero suits, and you can contact them to actually, you know, you could choose it from there, or you can just have those options in Create a Sim as well if you're like already making a sim who you're wanting to be a superhero, to have the superhero outfit to begin with, and like maybe there's a little extra category for your sim in Create a Sim that's like, this is their superhero costume or whatever. So it'd be fun, but I think the interaction with maybe the stylist would also be really fun. Just a little easy, like a little, I didn't mean to say easy, like a little simple thing, like it doesn't really need to be in there, but I think it would be cool, like, you know, and it'd be fun. Like, it also gives something for the stylist to do. Like, maybe they can add a little update that the stylist gets extra money if they make a superhero costume versus make a just an outfit in general, because of how it is, obviously. So, you know, it's an odd chance, or like maybe you get a chance to get a signed autograph from said superhero because you're making them their superhero outfit. So, you know, that would be really fun and really cool. Now, I don't know if they would go through, I gotta adjust myself, I don't know if they would go through and include, like, items that the superheroes may have. It'd be cool if they allowed that, I just don't know if they necessarily would. Because, you know, like, not all superheroes technically fight with just their powers, or like technically some superheroes don't technically have like a full-on power. They just actually are really good, really skilled fighters. So, you know, if they gave that as an option, but I don't know if they would do that, because then it would start leaning towards the more, I guess, realistic violence in a way, and not the cartoon violence. But, you know, if they could somehow do that, that would be fun, because not every superhero just relies on their power, and some of them use, like, some sort of item along with them, whether it's, like, some sort of staff, or a hammer, or a shield, something. But, you know, not every superhero is the same. I would definitely, if they did this, I would want there to be options, so that, you know, if I had multiple superheroes, they all had their differences. Like, it wasn't just like feeling like you're making the same superhero over and over and over again. I don't I don't want a bunch of All Mights. I want diversity. I don't want a bunch of like Captain Americas or Batmans. I want others. I want other things. I also would like the ability to have like super villains. Like, I feel like you can't do superheroes without doing supervillains, so I feel like you could actually choose which one you do, and, like, maybe somewhere in between, like, you know, Deadpool. I like Deadpool. So, I would like those options also to be choose from, whether, you know, you lean more towards the good, you lean more towards the evil, or somewhere in between and you're confusing everyone, but hey, it works! So, yeah, but I definitely would like to see that, and, like, maybe even have little fun, silly interactions in between the superhero and supervillains if they meet when they're not, like, fully garbed out or whatever, and they're just like, I don't want them to know who I am, and, like, they secretly both know each other is the superhero and supervillain, but they don't know that each other knows, so it's like, I can't let him know that I'm the villain he's after. Oh, he can't know that I'm the hero that's after him. This is normal everyday streets. We can't, like, just little weird interactions, like the sim all of a sudden turns the other way. But, you know, Sims doesn't sort of do those little interactions as much anymore. Makes me sad. Anyway, so yeah, I definitely would like both, and I'd definitely like to choose. And maybe even there's a way that they can sort of retire out of being a superhero, like, you know, they're no longer called on for need, like, yeah, I'm done with this, like, I just want to settle down, or, like, I'm getting a little bit older, like, let someone new take the reins or whatever. So, you know, there's a way to sort of get out of the limelight and retire and just chill and have a normal life if you want to. Yeah, you probably still have your powers, but you stop doing the superhero stuff. I also think, now, I do know that there's the update that firefighters come to places now, so, you know, firefighters are a thing, and police officers are technically a thing and get to work, but I don't think they just show up for any reason. Like, sometimes you'll see them walking around, and I can't figure out if that's just that Sim just got off of work, or the game is forgetting to change them in their normal attire, or if the game's actually making a police officer walk around like they're, like, actually walking and doing, like, they're on duty or whatever. I'm not really quite sure what's going on with that sometimes. I don't know which is happening. But, they don't actually come to your place. But obviously we don't have things like robbers and stuff. But they easily could add robbers in with the superheroes. Like, I think they should do that as, like, the update that comes before the pack that releases the superheroes. Like, it's a thing that they're bringing because of superheroes, but they don't bring it just with superheroes. So everyone still gets the robbers, and police officers could show up if you have Get to Work or something like that, or maybe they just do a patch where police officers show up no matter what. But if you have Get to Work, the police officers that you have working there are the ones that show up instead of just random NPC police officers. Maybe they could do something like that. But I think if they did something like that, I think it would be fun that every once in a while, maybe instead of a police officer or a firefighter, it's a superhero that shows up. So, like, if a superhero has a water ability of some kind, you know, they show out to put out the fire instead of the firefighter, because, you know, maybe they're closer by or something like that, or they can get there faster. Or, you know, the superhero is closer by when the robbery's happening. But, like, you know, stuff like that to actually be a little fun, that every once in a while, instead of a normal sim, that it's, like, a firefighter job or a police officer job or something along those lines, the superheroes show up. So that would be like a little fun little thing that I think they could add in, and that would be cool. I think they would need to add robbers and stuff like that in before this. And maybe even have like this whole superhero system impact their criminal career in some way. That might be interesting. I don't know necessarily how they would do it, because I don't think anything changed with their criminal career when they added Get to Work, which you think they would have. But from my knowledge, there was nothing impacted on the criminal career when it came to Get to Work with the police officer. I don't have too many Sims in the criminal career, especially ones that I actively play a lot. The first one that comes to mind is Fanteon. I play her quite often, and she is in the criminal career, but other than that, I don't have too many Sims that I actively play enough that are in that career field, but I'm pretty sure nothing was infected by Get to Work with the whole police officer thing. And I've played some of the detective stuff, and I've never seen Fanteon ever charged in jail, so yeah, I don't see it affecting either way, but it'd be cool if it did, and it'd be cool if when they do the super thing, it was also affected in some way. But yeah, so just little stuff like that to do here and there, and definitely add like designing suit options, or at least multiple suit options to choose from. Like maybe do tops and bottoms instead of doing a full suit, or maybe give some full suit items but give mostly in tops and bottoms, and maybe add some accessories to add on top of the suits so that you can make each suit, like hero costume and things like that, unique. Like maybe add undershirts and stuff as an accessory. I have a lot of undershirts as accessories for CC. Some of them don't work the way they're necessarily supposed to. I don't know if a patch broke them or what. Sometimes they do work, and sometimes they don't work the way they're supposed to, but it actually works out for the shirt or whatever I'm doing it, so I end up leaving it anyway. But yeah, I have like some tank tops and stuff like that that work as undergarments. But it'd be cool if the Sims team themselves maybe added some of those options, so that one, it could be layering, and it'd be a layering that you would get to choose yourself. But also in terms with the superhero costume, you know, you can make each costume as unique as possible, so that if you have 10 superheroes spread out, if for some reason you're like me and you like to make a bunch of the Sims in your world, even if you don't play them, and if you put in 10 superheroes, all of them look different. Their costumes look enough different that you wouldn't misthink them for another superhero, or be like, oh, that's blah blah blah. Oh, wait, no, that's not. So, you know, I definitely would like more of that option. As far as build and buy, I don't know what they would do for build and buy unless they added stuff for like a secret hideout for the villains, or like a secret base for the superheroes or something like that. Stuff that could go with that sort of theme. Maybe they could do that or whatever, but that's the best I could think of when it came to build and buy, stuff that maybe could come along with something dealing with superheroes. But yeah, that is the gist of it. I don't think with superheroes there is as much to talk about. Like, there is a lot of stuff with superheroes, but without getting like so annoyingly detailed, that's basically it. Having multiple abilities and powers to choose from would be nice. It would be nice if somehow your first power you choose affects some other powers that you can choose later on. It'd be nice to have some weaknesses or something that can get rid of the powers, or, you know, like make you weak or whatever. Maybe have like a power bar that eventually goes down and you can't use your powers for so long, or you have to do something to replenish it, stuff like that. And, you know, the costume thing that I was talking about, and that's a whole lot of stuff, but at the same time, you can't get too specific, because when it comes to the powers, there's so many powers, and you don't know which ones they'll include, but I definitely think they should include some that are more well-known and more popular, and such, because, you know, if you make a game and there's like a real, like Flight. If Flight is not in there, a lot of people's gonna be like, huh? So, there should be definitely some powers that are must-haves in there, but I think they should include some unique ones as well, but definitely make sure they prioritize some of the very common ones, because if they're not in there, it's gonna be weird. Well, yeah, I think it would be interesting. It'd be fun. I'd have a lot of fun doing it. I am, like I sort of basically said in the beginning, I'm not as big of a superhero person, especially not as much as I used to be. I still find that stuff interesting, and I still like superhero stuff. I still like things like Teen Titans and X-Men and all those ideas. I love My Hero Academia. But at the same time, like, I don't particularly look for superhero stuff. And it's not something I naturally gravitate towards. But I still think I would have a lot of fun with a pack that included superheroes if they did it right. So I think it'd be interesting, it'd be fun. And it would be more stuff for the adults to do, though, because I can guarantee you they're probably not going to give anything for the kids and toddler versions of superheroes to do, which is so annoying. It annoys me so much that vampire children and mermaid children and stuff like that just are basically normal, regular Sims. Like, I don't... It makes no sense to me. But I think they're doing it because they're afraid that it would cross the PG line if they made kids have to do some of these things that the adults do. But I really think there's ways they could get around without it being too much for kids to still have their abilities, like give them at least some of the abilities of vampires and some of the abilities of mermaids and some of the abilities of like fairies and whatever occults they're going to be potentially be or are already in the game. But too late on most of those. I'm pretty sure they're not going to change them now, especially vampires. Vampires has been out for so long, like they're not going to change that. And with that being said, that means that probably any other occult that ever comes out, the kids are going to have nothing when it comes to their whatever occult they are, which is sort of annoying and it doesn't make sense. Like, you don't, not every single occult you become whatever it is when you age up into a teen or adult. Like, that just doesn't happen. Some of them, you were just that from the beginning. But anyway, whatever. It's cool. We'll just forget all that. So yeah, I don't think the kids are gonna have any powers or abilities. It'd be cool if they did, because, you know, kids need more things to do. Kids and toddlers, like, there's just not enough for them, I don't think. So it'd be fun if they would at least try to include them in some of the stuff, bringing it into this. At least I would say, like, even if they didn't show the occult half of them, maybe kids could at least, like, have a favorite superhero and have a superhero they idolize and they want to try to get an autograph with them or something like that. Maybe something like that with the kids. They can probably do something along those lines. Otherwise, I don't know what else they would do for kids per se, along with superheroes and supervillains. So who knows? Well, maybe if they do bring superheroes, if it does come out, maybe they'll prove us wrong. But I doubt it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, hit that lovely like button and all that YouTube goodiness. Let me know down in the comments below if there's anything that you would have preferred me go more depth when it comes to superheroes, or anything you would like to add when it comes to superheroes down in the comments below. Definitely would love hearing from you all and any ideas or inputs you have on these occults. Again, there is a link in the description below for the Sims 4 Occult Discussions playlist, so if you've missed any, or if you're a little bit behind and, you know, you want an easy, quick place to go back to the playlist, it's down there in the description below for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!